A glamorous life I lead. Quick disclaimer for this one, guys. Only use materials that are listed and suggested in the description or linked. Other materials may seem similar, but can and will cause heat or chemical burns, and definitely do a test patch. It's better to do this with someone else with you to help remove the mold if needed, and always, always, guys, work safely. Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to safely make a cast of your face. I'm listing the materials below. Please only use these materials as other bandages can and will lead to heat and chemical burns. First, cover your hair to keep it safe. I prefer a bald cap, but we are aiming for the cheapest route today for you guys. Thicken the edge with masking tape on the wrap to help hold it into place. Dip the bandage pieces into a bowl of water and smooth off the extra water. Smooth onto your skin. You're going to work in sections and layer in one direction, and then the next layer lay on top in the opposite direction. I like to do at least 3 layers on the whole face. Avoid the eye areas and your nose holes so that you can, well, breathe. Smooth into any tiny and indented areas for a better impression. For the bottom edges of the face, don't go behind where it curves in at all, or you can risk getting the mold stuck. For the nose area, cut tiny strips to work around the openings. Work here slowly so that you don't cover your nose at all. Once you have your 3 layers, allow to dry for at least 30 minutes. When removing, wiggle your face underneath and scrunch it up to help loosen the mold. For the eye openings, we're going to be layering some pieces on the back as well as on the front. Do the same for the nose holes. Once that's dry, we now have a fully completed mask. For this next part, I'm placing the mold in a box that is just bigger than the mold itself, supporting underneath with towels and paper towels so that the mold won't lose its shape as it gets soft. We're filling with perfect casting material as it's very strong and dries extremely fast. You'll mix 3 parts casting powder to 1 part water and mix enough to fill your mold as far back as you want it to go for your face cast. Stir for about 2 minutes to make sure it's fully incorporated, and be sure to scrape the sides of your bowl. Pour in starting in the middle of your mold, and once filled, tap the box on the floor to release any air bubbles. You can see after 15 minutes, the sides are already drying. As the mold dries, you can actually feel whether it's still cold to the touch, which if it is, that means it is still pretty wet inside, so wait till it starts to get to room temperature and then peel off the pieces. You'll start to notice that they come off very quickly. And when I saw that mine wasn't, well, we'll get to that. Ready to show you the finished product? Just kidding. About halfway through the demolding process, the sides came off super easy and clean, which you can actually see, and then some wildness started to happen. So you're probably thinking, Alina, why are you showing us an unfinished product? Well, I'm gonna tell you. I could tell the moment that this started to stick, I did not grease up my mold. And you know, sometimes things go horribly wrong. But I'm gonna show you how you can take this mistake where I did not properly, the only word in my head right now is lubed up, and that is not what I wanna say. The word is just like gone. Oh no! You want to put a proper releasing agent into your mold, and we're going with the cheapest option possible, which is gonna be like your Vaseline. And it works great when you remember how to do it. Now, I did have the secondary face mold that you watched me put on that I could have used and done a completely flawless product, but I figured, let me show you how you can take a disaster and actually turn it into a clean finished product. So that is actually where we're gonna go with it, because not everything turns out perfectly, and sometimes you have to work with the issues that you encounter. This being
pretty big one. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and salvage this issue right here.
The tools we'll be using to fix it are fine grit sandpaper. This is great for rounded areas and removing the white plaster portions and working to create a smooth surface while working in little circles. We're also going to be using this plastic scraper, definitely not a metal one as that will do too much damage. You can still gouge out the mask plaster with this if you use the corner and aren't careful, but scraping parallel to the surface will remove large areas of the white plaster without damaging the mask plaster underneath. We'll also be using sculpting tools that will have a sharp edge and some that have rounded wire edges. The sharp edge is perfect for grinding down the high pieces of the mask plaster to bring down the ridges, and the round wire tools are perfect for removing the white plaster in detail areas without affecting the mask plaster underneath it. To scrape away just the white plaster bits, hold your finger farther down the tool so that it glides on the mask surface with less pressure. Now to grind down the actual mask plaster, you want to hold it higher on the tool for more pressure and control to grind away at the ridges that you want to take down. Scrape in the direction of a line instead of across it so that you can have a smoother transition to the surface that you want. The round wire tools are perfect for getting into the curved and detailed areas, and in the eye area here where I had a little bit of a deep line, I won't be removing the white plaster since we will be building it up to make it smooth. You want a smooth surface to work with so that your prosthetics don't catch or stick in creases. This tool works really well on the curved areas of the face. The last tool is a dense brush. This is to remove dust as you go so that you can see where you actually need to still remove or not remove, since the white dust can be deceiving when built up in areas. I work back and forth between these tools until I have a surface that I'm pretty happy with. It does not have to be perfect. Just want it to be smooth more than anything else and the general areas of your face. So definitely don't stress too much. Once we have all the dust cleaned up, take a damp paper towel and wipe down the entire surface of the mask to remove the dust and dampen it. For the final stage of fixing, we're going to just be using inexpensive premixed spackling, some popsicle sticks, and the cheapest tools, our hands. Get a little out and always cover your spackling between scoops as it dries within minutes. Fill in any dented or creased areas and smooth with your fingers. Make sure the surface you are working on is still damp. Apologies for always using my middle finger in videos, guys. What can I say? It's my strongest finger. Dipping your finger in water as you go is a must, as it will help you smooth the edges perfectly, and it's also great if you find any of the spackling not sticking somewhere, like right here. Just dampen and then smooth on and problem solved. Again, none of this has to be perfect, but the smoother you make it now, the less sanding you'll have to do in the end. Keep dampening any areas and working with the plaster until you have a smooth surface all over with no cracks or creases. Again, there's no such thing as perfection. Turn the mask as you work to make your life a whole lot easier. Any air bubbles you find, fill them in. This stuff dries so quickly and in small layers so that it is pretty satisfying and quick fix. I also like to fill in around the outside of my nostril creases just to make prosthetics even easier to remove. Once you're happy enough with it, you're going to let it dry for at least a half an hour. I like to sand smooth with lightly buffing with a fine detailed sponge nail file. Great for curves and larger areas. You aren't going to use a lot of pressure, and the goal is to smooth the surface, not remove layers. I like to use the brush from earlier to remove dust as I go so that I don't sand too far. If you end up sanding a little too much in any spots, just add a tiny bit of spackling and you're good to go. When sanded and dry, wipe down with a damp paper towel again to help paint stick to the surface a little bit better and spread smoother. I then like to use a really inexpensive multi-surface acrylic to paint it. I always like to make mine black as it makes latex, sculpting clays, and adhesives so much easier to see when making my prosthetics. Paint about 3 layers, letting dry between layers. I like to let the mask dry for about an hour, and then outside I will lightly mist a very thin layer of this clear glaze for about 3 to 4 layers until everything is sealed and shiny, and then we'll let it sit about 6 hours or overnight. And that's it. As you guys can see, I've already have clay and stuff on mine as I've been filming tutorials for you guys to have a new video every week, and she's holding up great. Super durable. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye!